Good morning, everyone. Welcome to iTech Solutions. I'm Paul King, the founder and CEO. This is Aaron Cole. He's a security specialist, full-time consultant for iTech. Today, we're going to be discussing cybersecurity. Cybersecurity breaches are becoming more and more common and in the news. So today, what we're going to talk about is the three methods that companies can use to train their employees, policies and procedures, and culture, which is probably one of the most important things. Aaron, why don't you get us started on what you think those three topics
encompass?
Thank you.
Well, the chain of cybersecurity is only as strong as its weakest link. It only takes one user clicking the wrong link to allow a malicious actor in. And 95% of cybersecurity breaches these days have some element of human error. Malicious actors are using social engineering to try and get you when you're not paying attention, to have something seem so familiar that you just click instead of think. Training is one of the ways that we help prevent this. Regular, recurring cybersecurity training is a necessary part of fostering this mentality amongst your users and your employees of examining what they're looking at.
So give us an example of something that we go through in our trainings.
Well, the very real example of checking links, of checking who sent you the email, checking if the sender of the actual email, the email address, is what the actual name field says. Many times they will impersonate the name field to be your CEO, so that you're more likely to go, oh, this is CEO Bob's email, I better address it quickly. Don't think that this could be a hacking attempt. Click the link and invite the malicious actor in.
Yeah.
This can happen in many different ways, and you do many different techniques to try and get past you. We see an increase in cybersecurity threats on Thursdays and Fridays in the afternoon when people are leaving the office, when you're more likely to go, I'll deal with this on Monday. And then by Monday, your computer is encrypted, the network is encrypted, and you've had to call me to come and fix it.
And Aaron, it can really be something as simple as just hovering over a link and looking for misspelled word, just anything out of the ordinary.
We do basic URL training so that people know the structure of a link so that they can tell where is this going, because oftentimes they will go to gobbledygook.com and then put in your company name, your CEO name, and bill.pdf is the full string. But if you're only looking at your company name and then the bill, you're not going to notice that this is coming from gobbledygook, not your company's link, not your client's link, not Dropbox or any other service that you might actually be using.
And these guys are getting much, much more advanced in how they're sending stuff. Like, for example, I got one a couple weeks ago that came from what looked like Bank of America. And when I hovered over the link, it was not Bank of America. UPS, FedEx, very, very common ones. Getting a piece of mail even that says, hey, your domain's about to expire. Please go to this link.
And there are many finance departments that will accept that small little bill, pay it, and then go to IT and go, why did we have to pay for this? We thought you were taking care of this. At which point we point out that this was not your actual domain registrar. This was a scam, and there's very little you can do to get your money back, because in the fine print, in the third page of the legal document attached to that, they told you it was a scam.
Yeah. Another big one that has been around for quite a while, actually, is you get an email from, like Aaron said, it looks like your CFO, and they want you to transfer money. So the next piece of cybersecurity, and this piece is just as important as training, is policies and procedures. We had a company who this happened to, and they wired $25,000 to someone who, obviously was not the CFO, or the CFO did not request them to do that. So with policies and procedures, what we've done with almost all of our clients is if there's a wire transfer request for over a certain amount of money, they have to pick the phone up and get verbal approval. I mean, it's gotten that bad.
We've also had clients who the only reason they didn't fall for that scam is that it came from the CFO who was sitting in the meeting and did not have their laptop or phone out, and the person who received it went, "You clearly didn't send this email." That because the malicious actor in that case had that person's signature, had some previous emails that this person had sent, and had tailored it to look like one of their emails. And in this case, we're seeing a lot more of this. This is called spear phishing, where they are looking up your company online. They are checking to see if you have an employee directory that's publicly available, and they can see that Bill's boss is Bob, so they should tailor the email to Bill so it looks like it's coming from Bob, and they might be more likely to follow through or just click on it out of a sense of trust.
And honestly, these days we're recommending to all of our clients that they do not have a employee list or email, especially emails, on their websites because of this. It used to be very, very common, and almost everyone had it. And we're telling people just take it down. You're just setting yourself up for a scam.
You're just providing the information necessary for them to do what they would like to do. One of our clients is a church, and each time they have announced a new pastor on their website, the church, people who are members of an old copy of their newsletter all receive emails from a new Google account claiming to be that pastor stuck in Central America, and they need to wire money so that the person can get back to Virginia so that they can be there for church on Sunday.
And this literally happens every time the pastor changes.
It's happened twice in the last 4 years, to the point where they make an announcement and announce the pastor in church prior to putting the announcement on their website so that people know ahead of time not to trust these emails. This pastor is not in Costa Rica with a broken down bus and needs $500 in Bitcoin to get the bus fixed.
You know, and another one to keep your eye out for is Venmo. Venmo's been a big one recently, where you'll get a text from. I'll just give you a personal example. My wife got a text from what looked like our daughter, and it said, "Hey, I need money for utilities." She's down at JMU at college, and my wife sent it to her, and so we lost that $280. So I own an IT company, and my wife fell for it. So it's not just, and I have to be careful all the time. So it's about building a culture that allows you to be as what's the word I'm looking for? Being as secure as possible and as proactive as possible.
And you do that through regular training, by talking about it. By, if somebody does make a mistake, not having it be a gigantic issue, but resolving it, finding out where the breakdown occurred. Well, they sent it 5 minutes before I was leaving on a Friday, and I just wanted to get it done. Well, that's when we have to talk about that they are targeting you for that reason. They're sending you this at this time to try and activate that automatic process, to get past the thinking about cybersecurity, the thinking about who sent this link. That is what their goal is. That is what they are trying to do. By having regular training, by having established policies and procedures that require, essentially, multi-factor verification before dispensing money. Things of that nature. That is how you create a culture within your company that will help you combat these issues, so that your users will get that and go, I'm not sure. Maybe I should ask somebody else. Right. Hey, real quick, we have Teams, we have chat programs, we have text messages, we have all this. It's very easy now to try and verify with somebody, hey, did you really send this invoice?
Right. And the way iTech normally handles these trainings is we bring lunch in. For almost all of our proactive maintenance clients are on a regular training schedule. We bring lunch in, get everyone in the conference room, and spend no more than 20 minutes. And we do them in small little chunks, because the one thing that we've learned is if you try and do a full hour, training, they only retain 15 minutes of it.
They only retain the lunch.
Yeah.
And they only retain the lunch, and you're absolutely correct. If you try and throw everything that we as cybersecurity consultants do in a day at somebody, they're not going to retain it, they're going to check out. So we try to stick to what the current trends are so people are aware, show them some current examples of what we're seeing in the texts, the emails, the forms, the form stuff, because a lot of this is people send them to us and say, hey, is this spam? And I get to a lot of the time say, yes, I found this in my junk mail folder. It's already been caught by the spam filter. The spam filter's been updated. But we take those examples and we show them to people. And you keep it short, you keep it sweet, and you try to keep it so that they remember a few things, like don't click a link unless I've checked on it.
And another thing that iTech does is we actually do, we actually send out emails that your employees are not supposed to click on. And if you're on Office 365, it's built into it, so there's no cost. It's just a matter of us setting it up. And we try and do that once a quarter. And it's not to get people in trouble, but it's to help us improve our training on an ongoing basis. Because these things do change on a daily basis. As soon as we think that we're ahead of them, we're 2 steps back.
It's a constant, ever-evolving battle that will be going on until the end of time or until cyber doesn't exist. There are the attackers and there's the defenders, and we're going to have to just keep defending. And with those test emails, it's a great way for finding out who's paying attention, who's not. And then if everyone passes that test, that is a great moment for the company where you walk into that cybersecurity training and go, congratulations, I don't have to tell you all not to click links this week because none of you clicked the link last week. Thank you.
But let's look at this. These are the new trends.
Who caught this email? What about it was suspicious to you?
Right.
And then for if people have failed, you bring it out and you make it a group activity. Why did you not click this link? I just didn't do my email. Well, great. But why did you not click this link? Well, this was about a new payroll system, and they hadn't announced a new payroll system. So why would I click a new payroll system link if we're not announcing it? You're not going to get your new payroll link from just randomly at 4:45 on a Friday. Things like that. But what you're trying to do is create a culture where people think about it before they do it, where clicking on links, accessing these things is not an automatic process.
What other types of things on the culture side do we do?
With the training, the regular meeting, talking about it, regularly updating people on newsletters and on new trends, stuff like that help bring to get a conversation going, to get people more invested in it personally. We also, I often talk a lot about stuff that's not affecting businesses, stuff that's being targeted at homes, home users, home services, stuff like that. We recommend multi-factor verification on everything. With people having, Nest home cameras, Ring doorbells, and stuff of this nature, I've had to remind people that you need multi-factor on that account. If I'm able to get into there, I know the layout of your house, I know your regular movement, I know when you leave and when you go, if you're able to breach that account. So for that, you need multi-factor on those accounts for sure. And there were a lot of people when those devices first came out that were completely unaware of those factors. The security aspect, to them was, I have this camera now, my house is safe. Not, I have this camera now, the Russians know exactly what I'm doing. Which is, that's not the framework that they think in. And so that's something that we try to put in there to kind of personalize cybersecurity, to bring it down, not just as this business thing, this nation state warfare back and forth, but this is something where it can affect you.
I'll give you a prime example, talking about the personal side. When Canary first came out, That's a security, it's a camera system. There was a woman in Colorado who put it in her kids' room, and someone hacked into it and was talking to her 3-year-old daughter in the middle of the night. That's scary.
Multi-factor.
Yep.
Multi-factor authentication. And another thing is, when you do have multi-factor set up and you start receiving multi-factor notifications and you aren't trying to sign in, that's a time to talk to an expert. That's a time to verify your password, change your passwords. Another website, Have I Been Pwned, is a website where you can track whether your information was released in data breaches. Thankfully, Chrome and Edge have started to do password security, where they are checking these published lists. So if you have your password saved in Chrome or in Edge, and it pops up and tells you your passwords aren't secure, that's because they found your password publicly in publicly available information.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely need to change that.
And another thing that I don't think we've talked about, but this happened to me recently, is you should always make sure you had 2 forms of 2-factor authentication. I lost my cell phone, and so I had like a 12-hour, 24-hour period where I didn't have a phone, and I couldn't get into any of my stuff because it all went to my phone.
So a lot of services have realized this,
Mm-hmm.
and when you set up multi-factor, they will provide you a list of one-time codes, codes that can be used once to allow you access to your account in place of the code from your phone.
Yep.
That is something to store somewhere safe, somewhere you can get to in an emergency. So that if you do lose your phone, if you your multi-factor device, if you have a key card or a chip of some kind, that you are able to then access your account and change your
Absolutely.
your multi-factor over to a new device without having to compromise anything. So I take advantage of those services and store that information securely in something you can access without your phone or multi-factor device.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Aaron. Any last minute comments?
Make sure you have long passwords. They have found that the shorter your password, the faster it is for them to break it. We recommend now actually doing sentences, long 16-character sentences where you have several words in there. That will help with a mnemonic for you to remember it. You throw in some special characters, numbers somewhere in there, and you'll have a very secure password that you can remember.
Passphrases.
Yeah, the passphrase almost more than a password.
Right, exactly.
The longer your password, the harder it is for them to crack using decryption tools. So each additional character, each level of complexity adds more and more time.
And if you go to our website, itechsolutions.com, we actually posted a piece on this, and it's a very interesting read. So if this is something that you're more interested in, please go to our website.
And we included a chart in there that shows you that your 8-character password with special characters, uppercase, lowercase, and numbers still only takes 32 minutes with 2022 technology to break that 8 characters. At 16 characters, we're talking billions of years. So longer is better for password security. A lot of it is you have to have buy-in from the top.
Yep.
If the decision makers don't think security is a priority, it won't be. And people will say, take the free meal. They'll tell them take the free meal, and we're not doing that. And that is the choice.
And we've had CEOs do it, to tell us that. I mean, all we can do as consultants is consult, and try and protect our clients as best as possible. As far as password length, that can be set on almost all the platforms. So I don't think we have a company that we haven't.
With multi-factor passwords, now with Office 365, they have the safe link policy. If you're playing, if they have the Defender license, where it is evaluating links ahead of time and providing a safe link for you to click that would lead to the content and it pulls it into a sandbox and protects it. But if you, these are technical things we can put in place that can be enforced. But oftentimes, what we're seeing most and what's causing the most damage is stuff that came out today. This template that was sent out, got past the spam filter, got past the phishing filter, got past all of this stuff because it's brand new. They've tweaked something about it so that it can get past all these filters and the protections we've put in place. And then at that point, the only line of defense remaining is that human element. And that is something you have to kind of get buy-in from the top. And then that will, for the regular cybersecurity training, I filter down, because once you have that buy-in from the top, and you do, I have clients who greet me by saying I didn't click the link this week, because that's what they retained from the cybersecurity, and if that's the only part you retained from what I was telling you, okay. If you didn't click the link and you're thinking about links, that's
half the battle.
That's half the battle. I often will tell my clients, if you have any questions about this, email it to me.
Yeah.
Just if you don't think this is real, if there's anything that is tickling you, making you wonder, email it to me. 9 times out of 10, if you emailed it to me, it's not legit.
Right.
I have had some that have been legit, but again, 90% of them are not legit.
And we know it's extra steps. Nobody likes doing long passwords. Nobody likes the 2-factor authentication. But unfortunately, in 2022, it's a must. And I think all the C-level people realize that now. So we're not getting pushback as much as we used to 5 years ago.
Multi-factor is now accepted.
Yeah.
5 years ago, people would fight about multi-factor.
Yeah.
But part of that is creating that culture where we know the threats that are out there. People understand, a lot of the times after I go through some of these cybersecurity stuff, people come up to me and they're like, how do you sleep at night? Behind a secure password with a secure firewall and a whole lot of security. Yeah, that's how I sleep at night. But yeah, it is a stressful world that we live in. And cybersecurity is always going to be about the latest threat. And you can burn out on it real quick if you're not careful. And so we try to encapsulate it down to these are the manageable points. What's one way to keep your business entirely secure? No email. You can't get phishing emails then if you have no email. But then in this modern world, no one's gonna wait for your snail mail to get to them in our current world. So,
most people don't like change, but in this day and age, change is, especially when it comes to cybersecurity, will happen almost every day. And that's just the world we live in. All right, well, thanks a lot for that, Aaron. Thank you very much for joining and watching. Till the next iTech Tech Talk, have a great afternoon. Thanks.